My incredible parents. 64th wedding anniversary of my parents. Komarat Shivram, K. Shivram, and Amni Matai, Amni Shivram. We were fortunate to have them living with us till the end. It was indeed a blessing. Achan passed away on 5th November 2005 and Amma on 10th May 2020. Ironically, it was Mother's Day, celebrated by the whole world. As the saying goes, when someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. My father, Komarat Shivram, was born on April 5th, 1924. He was the 8th child, 3 sisters and 6 brothers, in all 9 children. My father's mother, Komarat Kalyanikuti Amma, was the only daughter of Parukuti Amma and Kundur Narayana Menon. She was the first girl from the Komarat family and Cochin state to pass the matriculation examination. This brought her the honor of being invited to meet the Maharaja of Cochin, who wanted to congratulate her personally. Kundur Narayana Menon, my father's maternal grandfather, was a Tehsildar. Once, he was posted in Kodungallur, the then center of cultural activities in the state. Residing there were famous Malayalam literatures, Kodungallur Kunyukuttan Tamburan and Kochunni Tamburan. Association with them awakened the latent poetic talent in Narayana Menon. Learning Sanskrit all by himself, he came out with Malayalam translations of Kalidasa's classics Malavika Agnimitram, Kumara Sambhavam, and Megha Sandesham. He also translated Tagore's Gitanjali and wrote several original poems in Malayalam, of which Nalabhasha Kavyangal is the best known. Acclaimed as the pioneer of pure Malayalam movement, he was honored with the title of Kavi Tilakan. After he passed away, he was buried in the premises of the house where till today my cousin lights an oil lamp at dusk. My father's father, Ambat Shivarama Menon, belonged to the aristocratic Ambat Tarwad or ancestral home of Chittoor, Cochin. The Ambat Tarwad ranked in the social status next only to the royal family of Cochin and the Palliyat Achans, who were de facto rulers of the state during the Dutch occupation. He was the only son of Ambat Ikkalli Amma and Champathil Nanu Mannadiya. Shivarama Menon took his law degree from Madras Law College after graduating in arts. After marriage, he set up practice in Madras High Court. Eventually, built a big bungalow in a sprawling estate in Egmore and named it Swarna Vilas. My father was born there. Shivarama Menon was acclaimed as a brilliant advocate. His knowledge and prodigious memory earned him the name of walking encyclopedia. A distinguished lawyer, pioneer of the cooperative movement in India, founder member of the Justice Party, forerunner of the Dravida Karagam, and editor of the party's newspaper, The Liberator. In 1936, when he was first elected to Cochin Legislative Council, he settled down in Thrissur. 2 years later, he became the first elected minister of an Indian state. As a child, my father was very quiet. He was mostly an onlooker of happenings around, rarely a participant. He seldom engaged in the usual pranks of children his age. Even at the young age, he was a quiet observer and silent to a fault. He was named Shivaram after his father and was fondly called Tangam, meaning pure gold in Malayalam. My father played a leading role in organizing student participation in the freedom struggle during his college days. He was arrested along with his elder brother Bhagyanathan and imprisoned during the Quit India movement of 1942. Produced in court, both refused the services of a defense lawyer and argued on their own. The judge who sentenced them later remarked that he would be proud to have sons like them. After release, he was engaged for a while in underground activities led by a radical socialist group. He refused to continue his studies under the British rule. Without even telling his mother, he left home. He was 18 then. He set out for Sevagram to meet Gandhiji and join the freedom movement. After Achin passed away, a book was released in his memory by some of his very close friends who worked with him at Free Press Journal. It was edited by P.K. Ravindranath, and many people contributed to the articles in the book. Achan's elder brother, Dr. K. Chandrasekhar, T.J.S. George, A. Hariharan, M.B. Kamath, Dan Karkaria, M.K.B. Nair, P.K. Ravindranath, and Kartikeya Sarabhai. While I was going through this book, I was amazed reading one particular incident that was written by Achin himself. I would like to read that to you. It was late at night when I reached Sevagram. Kumari Kamla was nowhere in sight. I had to grope my way to the ashram. An unfamiliar face there heard my story and led me to a hut to rest for the night, saying that it was too late to meet Gandhiji. I was led to a four-walled hut with no roof. Spreading my dhoti on the uneven floor, weary of all the travel, I fell asleep quite soon. In between, when I woke up, I found that someone had left an oil lamp by my side. My weary body went back to sleep. The hustle around the ashram woke me up quite early in the morning. People were rushing around all over the place. A little away was another small house with a long veranda. Hugging my bundle of earthly belongings, I went there and sat down on the veranda. I waited for daybreak to present my case to someone who could escort me to Gandhiji. There was a coy-strap wooden cot on the veranda covered with a mosquito net, and someone was sleeping inside it. I decided to wait. A little later, the man on the cot woke up and got out of the mosquito net. Seeing me sitting there on the veranda, he inquired about my whereabouts. I gave him a short history of my adventures as a budding freedom fighter and my desire to join Gandhiji's camp. Don't you think you should complete your degree course and then plunge into active participation? His quiet, soothing, comforting words set me thinking. All the same, I couldn't decide anything then. I had yet to meet Gandhiji. I thought and made my time. As the early morning twilight brightened my surroundings, the man in the mosquito net was escorted by someone to an inner room. And to my utter surprise, I realized that the man I was talking to all the while in the early hours of the morning was none other than Gandhiji himself. Without any forethought, when armed with Gandhiji's blessings and autograph on a 5-rupee note, he proceeded to Bombay, as he was not yet ready to go back home. After brief stints as engineering apprentice at Hindustan Aircraft Factory, Bangalore, as civilian employee of the US Army Force, and as secretary to a businessman, he took up journalism as his career. in 1944, he began his career in Free Press Journal. Amni Matai was the daughter of Achama and Korekatatotam V. Matai, fondly called Chachoi of Muatupura. She was the fifth child of the 8 children, 5 sisters and 3 brothers. They were brought up as staunch Jacobite Christians. Her grandfather, Papa, belonged to the Irumalakara family. Available facts trace this family back to a famous Vishagavaran, one who has antidotes for poisoning, named Mathu, the original form of Mathai or Matti. He was a member of the Kurikatta Tarawad of Kadadi on the northern bank of the Muatupura River. The family was in the Kadamattam diocese. Born in 1856, Papa was the eldest of 5 children. Papa had 8 children, 5 boys and 3 girls. My mother's father, Chachoi, was the 3rd son. Chachoi was born on September 22, 1890. The day coincided that year with Janmashtami, Lord Krishna's birthday. Chachoi was christened Matai. Papa went on periodic tours surveying the state of the land which was all owned by the Raja. People usually cleared the jungle and occupied the land and waited for the Karyakars to visit and to get occupation sanctioned and legalized. A fee was charged in the form of an annual tax for such regularization, after which the occupant would become an authorized settler or virtual owner of the land. Papa found one such area, secured legal rights of the ownership and occupation, and settled on the land. Once the plot was legalized in his name, Papa put heart and soul into making his dream house. He made his estate Korekatatotam, which also became the family name. Muatupura's poet Sri P. N. Neelakantan Nair has interpreted this name. Kora was a synonym of free gift in those days. Katu is another term for kadu or forest, and totem means estate. We know that Papa's estate came up on the forest land given as a gift by the great Nambudiri. Together, Papa and Chachoi created the Garden of Eden there, planting numerous fruit-bearing plants and trees and even spices. But Chachoi was intent on pursuing his studies. Persevering and hardworking, he was determined to scale great heights and fulfill Papa's dream of giving him the best possible education. He did it with flying colors. He worked hard and steadily to become the first person from Muatupura town to acquire not only a Bachelor of Arts degree but also the postgraduate qualification of LT, Licentiate in Teaching, which was equivalent to the present-day B.Ed degree. He was also the first person from Muatupura to become a gazetted officer of the government. Chachoi started his teaching career at Palai St. Thomas High School. Later, Chachoi joined government service. His first posting was at the Government High School of Chenganur. After that, he had to work in schools at many other places in erstwhile Travancore state. He became the headmaster of the Muatupura English High School, and it was as headmaster of this school that Chachoi had the distinction of becoming the first gazetted officer from the town. My mother's mother, Ammachi, was a teacher too. Ammachi passed away when my mother was barely 18 months old. She couldn't remember her at all. Chachoi married again to Sarama, the daughter of Karavatta Veetil Aipukora of Kandanad, and granddaughter on the maternal side of the well-known Thudiyan Vaidya. The Thudiyan family originally came from somewhere north of Kandanad. Their family name was Ambat. What a coincidence! Life was different for my mother, but slowly Sarama Kochamachi as we fondly called her, my mother's sisters Kunjama, Machechi, Listen, Jessie, and brothers Joychan, Babu, and Saju filled the void of love and affection that she craved for. My mother was keen in studies, and with the full support of her grandfather and father, she completed a master's in English. She had sought and got admission for BT today's B.Ed course at Trivandrum College. She returned to Muatupura to enjoy a little recess, but then fate intervened. She was called for an interview for a lecturer's post in Wilson College, Bombay. She stayed with her sister, Kunjama, while in Bombay. In a short time, she joined as sub-editor in the Free Press Journal and became the first Malayali woman journalist of India. Free Press Journal. That was where destiny brought my mother and father together. Working at Free Press Journal also brought new friends in their life. Colleagues T.J.S. George, P.K. Ravindranath, A. Hariharan, M.V. Kamath, M.K.B. Nair, and of course Pal Thackeray, who was working as a cartoonist at that time. Their bond sealed for life, passing on their legacy of friendship to their children. My mother proved her mettle as a journalist, as a sub-editor, and then as a feature writer. Being the only young girl on the staff, surrounded by eligible young males, no one would let go an opportunity to pull Amma's leg. But Achan was different. Ravi uncle remembers telling his colleagues that one day Shivram will come to us and tell us that he is going to get married to Amni. And that is what happened one day. Marriages are made in heaven. It has been truly said. Theirs certainly was celestially ordained. Achan and Amma got married after a couple of turbulent years of their meeting each other. Theirs was a registered marriage, so at 11 a.m. on April 6, 1957, as per the provisions of the Indian Christian Marriage Act 1872. Achan tied the thali around Amma's neck. They exchanged rings and signed in the marriage register. Joychayan from Amma's side and Achan's cousin K.M.G. Menon from his side signed as witnesses. As they left Mr. Vasa's office, he shook hands with them and said with a mischievous smile, "I will be glad not to see you again."
You know, Achan and Amma used to always talk about their wedding in the Free Press Journal and how the very small group that was there to be part of the wedding. So my brother Vinay decided to give them a big surprise. For their 25th wedding anniversary, he quietly, with my sister Neeti, began contacting our relatives and friends, not only in Ahmedabad but also out of Ahmedabad, and asked them to try and come to Ahmedabad and be part of the celebration. I was amazed because the turnout that was there on that day was huge, and my brother and sister, and of course some of our friends from Ahmedabad, and also Ravi uncle and Tara auntie's children, Jayesh, Anuja, and Naresh, and of course my cousins from Bombay, Joychan, all of them were there, Joychan and Mai, and the kids. And we had an amazing evening. And what was so wonderful about it was that Achan and Amma had no idea about it. And in the morning, one after the other, people start pouring into Ahmedabad and coming to our home. And that's when they realized, oh, why did you come? How come you're here? So they said, oh, all right, we've just come like that just to see you and all that. And then in the evening, we had a plot, a common plot opposite our house in Sunrise Park. And one after the other, the decorators, the light people, the people who we had ordered food from, they all started arriving. And the kitchen had a window which was facing this plot. So Amma was watching all this and wondering what was happening, and she asked, I think there is some event in our common plot in the evening. So we also said, yeah, maybe there's something, God knows what it is. But by 6:37, the lights went up and people started coming in. And many of Achan and Amma's old friends from various parts of Ahmedabad and also outside Ahmedabad arrived, and they were amazed. They said, oh my God, so this was all for us. And I think that day made a big difference to them. My brother Vinay and Neeti put together a wonderful evening for them, which they remembered and cherished always, because they had such a huge celebration that day, something that they never really had when they got married. Of course, very few close family friends and family were present at that time.
When my elder brother Vinay was born, they went with him to see my father's mother at Kotai for the first time. Time is indeed a great healer. As they began their life together, there were occasions when they were short of cash, but never was there any shortage of love, contentment, or happiness. They never showed their shortcomings or worries to their children. My brother Vinay Kumar and sister Neeti Rani were born in Bombay. Amma left the Free Press Journal job to take care of the family. Achan toiled day and night at Free Press Journal, but eventually gave up and decided to move on. He joined Indian Express, and that took him to Vijayawada, where I was born. Indian Express shunted him to many cities where new editions began. From Vijayawada, we moved to Hyderabad, Madras, and then Ahmedabad. It was then that Amma decided to join St. Xavier's High School, Loyola, as a teacher in the primary section. 5 years down the lane, and once again, Achan was transferred to Cochin to start the Cochin edition. Amma once again joined the journalist fraternity and began looking after the women's page and also the film page. As a child, I used to tag along with Amma as she went around interviewing a lot of famous film actors in the field at that time. Prem Nasir, Shankar Adi, Bahadur, my cousin Vidhu Bala, and her brother Madhu Ambat, Kamala Hassan, and many more. It was indeed a wonderful time meeting all these artists, and especially seeing my cousin Vidhu Bala, who was at the peak of her career. It was also during that time that we got to see the wonderful magic shows of my uncle, my father's elder brother, Professor Bhagyanathan. The 3 years that we were in Ernakulam and Fort Kochi, all part of the greater Cochin, divided by a man-made Wellington Island, we got to meet our extended family. My uncles, aunts, cousins from both my father's side and mother's side. The most beautiful years of our life. That's when we also met Chachoi and Ammachi. I adored Ammachi and loved the tasty fish curry and other delicacies that she would fondly treat us with whenever we went to Muatupura. The same with Achan's sisters, brothers, and their children. When Achan was transferred back to Ahmedabad, we really missed our regular meetings with the family. Wonderful memories that still linger in our minds. Every single person from Achan's side and Amma's became very dear to us, and we still share the same feelings for each one of them. As a journalist, my father has worked for Free Press Journal, Bombay, from 1944 to 1959, Indian Express from 1961 to 1979. When emergency and censorship were clamped down, my father boldly was providing the readers of Indian Express Cochin the developments of the country and within the ruling party. Every other paper in the country missed the story about the imposition of emergency. The then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was not pleased. The last baton of the rebel, the defiant press in India, was bludgeoned into silence. After retiring from Indian Express, my father joined the Nehru Foundation for Development from 1979 to 1984 and the Center for Environment Education, CEE, from 1984 to 1989. This was his second home. Working with Kartikeya Sarabhai, Raju Sarabhai, Dhan and Hema, Kiran Desai, and the rest of the team boosted his energy even after having 3 heart attacks. Kartikeya adored him like his own father. So did Dhan and Hema. He was never happy to retire from there, but his health did not permit him to continue. He was a visiting faculty of the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's HV Institute of Mass Communications, on the Board of Studies for Journalism in the Universities of Gujarat and Kerala. He has served as president of the Gujarat Journalist Union and as National Committee member of the Indian Federation of Working Journalists. My mother, on the other hand, joined Free Press Journal as a sub-editor, later worked as school teacher at the St. Xavier's High School, Loyola, Ahmedabad, as sub-editor with Indian Express Cochin, and also as a freelance writer for many magazines. A long and successful journey. Till the end, they were like inseparable swans in love. I often used to tease Achan, saying that he was a henpecked husband, fulfilling every want of my mother. Together, they gave abundance of love to their children, Vinay, Sophie, Shri Kumar, Neeti, Anita, and me, and to their grandchildren, Adarsh, Karthik, Akash, Anirudh, and Vikram, whom they adored and loved.
My parents had a wonderful life, surrounded by love and affection. But there were 2 moments in their life that shattered them, and it stayed with them till the end. My brother Vinay's sudden death, and my mother being diagnosed with cancer on the jaw. After my brother's death, neither Achan nor Amma would ever come out of the grief. Of course, not even all of us, Bobby, Annie, me, and the kids. And Amma's cancer being diagnosed with the jaw. They did everything to find out if it was positive. And finally, we ended up having the operation here in Ahmedabad. After the operation, radiation was required. Achan used to be taking Amma very often to civil hospital for the radiation. I think this whole episode kind of reduced his life because I feel if it was not for Amma's cancer, Achan would have lived for some more years.
Happy anniversary, Achan and Amma.